Today on Bringhurst VR, we're doing things a little bit differently. I have a lot of things to talk about, but I don't know about it going in. I found links that I think are intriguing. I want to learn about it, and you're going to learn alongside me. And on the docket, we're going to be discussing Google's Project Genie, making real-time explorable virtual worlds and offering a peek into VR's future. After that, Lynx has a new R2 headset that they've just revealed with a surprisingly wide field of view. The sleeper hit, Ugh. As reported by Road to VR, is a real smash hit. And we're going to talk about why everything is terrible. And the Half-Life Alyx album is coming to CD and vinyl. Is this a good thing? Ian Hamilton was kicked, booted, gone from VR Upload. It's a real disruption. Nobody saw it coming, given the non-volatile nature of VR right now. And lastly, people are talking about my eyebrow. They're saying it's up all the time, and one guy asked if I had a stroke when I was younger. Why is this happening, and how does it relate to your mother? All of that and more today on Bringhurst VR. Okay, so as promised, we're going into this blind. There's things I know I want to talk about, but what are these articles going to reveal? I have no idea. This episode is sponsored by VR Wave. More from them in just a bit. All right, so this is from Road to VR. It reads, Google's Project Genie makes real-time explorable virtual worlds, offering a peek into VR's future. This is by a guy named Scott Hayden, released today. It says DeepMind, Google's AI research lab, announced Genie 3 last August, showing off an AI system capable of generating interactive virtual environments in real time. Now, Google has released an experimental prototype that Google AI subscribers can try today. Granted, you can't generate VR world on the fly. You can't generate VR world on the fly. Do you mean a VR world or VR worlds? Scott Hayden. But we're getting tantalizingly close. Tantalizing? Well, that's just titillating. It goes on, Project Genie is what Google calls its... Wait. It says Project Genie is what Google calls it an experimental research prototype, so it isn't exactly the AI game machine of your dreams just yet. Essentially, it allows users to create, explore, and modify interactive virtual environments through a web interface. I gotta be careful when I'm reading this. The system is a lot like previous image and video generators, which require inputting a text prompt and or uploading reference images, although Project Genie takes this a few steps further. But it goes on, instead of one, Project Genie has two main prompt boxes, one for the environment and one for the character. A third prompt box also allows you to modify the initial look before fully generating the environment, e.g. make a sword bigger, change the trees to fall time. Change the trees to fall time. Oh, like seasonal. This writer is not extremely talented. Can I say that? I'm sure he's very nice, and I think this is a man, Scott Hayden. I gotta be careful nowadays, but he's writing, there's no editor over there. And so there's a bunch more, but his take is near the end, takes the time to write it out. He says there are a lot of hurdles to get over before we can see anything like Project Genie running on a VR headset. And by that I think he means standalone, because I could envision a world where that works on PC VR. But there's also a part of me that, as a developer, sure, it would be really cool to just say, make something akin to The Lord of the Rings and make sure to not step on any copyright. Like, I want to explore and create content around, Isildur's castle. Like, it would just be cool to jump anywhere and go see anything. But with this also comes this thing where, for a long time, it takes talented developers to make this kind of content. They're paid well for their work. Now, I am bothered by AI in all aspects, in everything. But it's troubling the loss of jobs that are going to come of this. Like, you wouldn't sit through an AI movie. You wouldn't. I wouldn't. Like, if they told me this blockbuster hit's amazing and it's an hour and a half of just pure AI and the story's fine and it's actually funny, who knew? And it's starring Cary Grant. They brought him back. I couldn't enjoy that. I couldn't sit through that because to make art, you have to have a soul. There has to be something behind it. It's not possible to make art with AI, and what they're talking about is making art that you can step into. It's not art, it's just a theft of other people's concepts, and it's compiling together all this different stuff. And I can't appreciate that, not just out of principle, but like there's nothing behind it. And I think most people are going to feel that way if they really examine it deep down. That's how they're going to feel. And I'd rather, send people to school for something that they're actually going to benefit from, or just go on YouTube and spend 25 hours a week watching tutorials on the Unreal Engine. You should be making this stuff, not AI. All right, next up, we have this Lynx R2 headset revealed with surprisingly wide field of view in a tiny package. Oh my gosh, this is also by Scott Hayden. This is going to be filled with just... Lynx has unveiled the Lynx R2, a significant upgrade over its original R1 mixed reality standalone, which aims to capture the enterprise and prosumers market. Enterprise and prosumers market. Can you just say consumer? Who is this guy? What is he talking about? What is the original R1 mixed reality? I don't know. Hang on. Lynx R1 headset. Okay, so we have some footage from 2021, 5 years ago, of the Lynx R1. This is performed by the Tested channel on YouTube, Adam Savage's deal. The France-based startup considers R2 is a significant step forward. Can I come work for Road to VR? I promise I'll spell check. The France-based startup considers R2 is a significant step forward, featuring new aspheric pancake lenses from Hypervision, which are said to deliver 120 degrees horizontal field of view, notably larger than the R1's 90 degrees or Quest 3's 110 horizontal. Paired with dual 2.3K LCD displays delivering more than 24 pixels per degree, R2 is said to deliver crisp text and image rendering for industrial and medical use cases. Okay, so it's not even for gaming. While the new standalone headset features the same flip-up design as its predecessor, R2 is powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2, offering substantial gains in GPU and AI performance over R1, which was introduced in 2021 with the older Snapdragon XR2 Gen 1. So it's not for you, it's not for me, it's for the elites running hospitals. Up next, sleeper hit Ugh has become one of Quest's most popular and top-earning games in less than 6 months. Who knew? While a flurry of VR Studios cuts and closures in the last 12 months has painted a picture of a deeply struggling landscape for VR developers, modern Quest success stories have largely flown under the radar. The free-to-play title Ugh has, for instance, has exploded in both popularity and earnings, matching top titles like Gorilla Tag and Beat Saber in mere months. In an interview with Road to VR, the creators of Ugh have shared a rare look inside the success of Quest's latest hit. Released on the Quest less than 6 months ago, Ugh has quickly become one of the platform's most popular, best-rated, and top-earning titles. The game shares broad similarities to the likes of modern VR games like Gorilla Tag, i.e. free-to-play, social multiplayer, ARM-based locomotion, but revolves around hatching, raising, riding, screwing, and adventuring on virtual dinosaur pets. The formula has been a hit, with the Quest audience blasting off to become the most rated title on the Quest store with 245,000 reviews. That not only puts it above contemporaries like Animal Company, which has 180,000, and Gorilla Tag, which carries 167,000 reviews, but it's also the best rated of the three. Ugh has managed to maintain a 4.9 out of 5-star user rating, which is unheard of for a Quest game with so many reviews. No, it's not. So this is terrible. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened, but it's pretty ugly. But why is this game succeeding so well? Why is it so popular? And why are games like this, an Animal Company, and Gorilla Tag taking over the market? Why does it have so many ratings? Are there really 245,000 kids out there reviewing this game positively? I don't know if this is happening. no idea. But I have witnessed firsthand in games like Jacked Up, for instance, where if you want to like enhance your physique, build up your profile, and earn extra stuff, you do so by buying it with reviews. You write a review, you make it 4 stars, and then you confirm in some way or another that you've done that, and then in return you get some kind of a perk. Super shady. It's super dark, but I've seen people do that. I'm not saying that's what's happened here, but if you ask me, on a MetaQuest headset, 245,000 reviews, I would be shocked if that was not what was happening. Bribery and kids are easy targets. Okay, so it looks really bad. And in my last video, I talked about this briefly, about this thing where earlier this month, Hello Kitty had come out. You know, there's this thing where, like, I could talk about so many things related to VR. If I owned it, I'd be talking about the PSVR 2. I can't afford it. So join members and do me a favor. In exchange for that, you get early access and all this cool stuff. But then it would give me the funds to buy that other stuff. Because right now I'm all tied up. So, but you know who helps me lessen the burden? Bearded Dan in presenting sponsors like VR Wave. This episode is sponsored by VR Wave. Thank you very much to them. It's because of them that this video was possible in the first place. And while they offer a huge number of available lenses for the MetaQuest 3, the Quest 2, the 3S, I've got a pair that my wife really likes, and I think you should check them out. I really want to comment more on the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. But the Ray-Ban glasses, the lenses, they swap out by just popping them out. It's so simple, it's so easy. And as far as selecting the prescription lens that you need, or maybe you only want plano, maybe you only care about transition lenses, which they offer. The process of selecting the right lens is simple, it's straightforward, and for an affordable pair of lenses, I really hope that you'll check them out. But as affordable as these already are, you can use the code BRINGHURSTVR at checkout to save an additional 5% off. These guys were supporting my channel early last year. I'm so happy to be working with them again. And while I really want to make the focus of this, the Meta Ray-Ban replacement lenses across transitions, virtually any prescription lens, and the ease at which you can pop them out, pop them in, just blows me away at how easily they attach to the MetaQuest 3, the 2. If you're using this for VR, you want something high quality that's streamlined, that pops out, pops in easily, and that you know the prescription is going to land perfect the first time you order. Don't wear VR headsets with glasses. Don't wear detachable, thin shades on top of your Meta Ray-Bans. Do it the right way. Visit their website right now, supports my channel, and you get something amazing and at an affordable cost. Thank you very much to VR Wave for sponsoring this episode. Check them out in the description below or the pinned comment. And again, Bringhurst VR at checkout for 5% off. Back to it. Wish I had a beard. All right, but I was talking about how like Hello Kitty had just come out earlier this year, this month, and like if I'm going to talk about a new headset, which I'm kind of limited right now, or I could talk about a new game coming out, but I'm kind of limited right now, then if I don't want to just continuously make the most AAA games of Quest, the most AAA games of Steam, the worst games of Quest, the worst games on Steam, or like this VR News where I'm just covering stuff and discovering it alongside you, then I'm literally forced to cover Hello Kitty. And again, at what point does that just become an FBI honey trap? Like, this whole thing is just increasingly becoming filled with games for kids.
Who else thinks changing to a HuliChat login is hella lame? Madison, Allison, Jennifer, Stephanie, Quinn, Ingrid, Kaylee, Ava, Sarah, Janelle, Carl. Now, Carl, you said the new sign-in page made you nervous. Did anyone else feel nervous?
That are like, I don't know. I don't want to be here. I don't want this. And it's increasingly clear that Quest is not the one to give it to us. You know, I know that I've contradicted myself in the past with this. I know, I'm completely aware. I'm familiar with me. I still stand by this thing where they make, you know, great hardware and they're more than reliable with updates. You know, a headset bought in 2021 is not the same headset a year later. It's been proven to be the case that you don't have hand tracking, then you do, and pass-through is bad, and then it's good. They just keep up with it, and it's great. But they are terrible. Come here. Come closer. Listen. They're awful at producing games and trying to anticipate what their audience wants. You could say that, oh, well, this has 245,000 views. What are you talking about? Obviously, they're leaning into what their audience wants, but this isn't their audience. Something's gone horribly wrong. This is their audience is kids, half of which aren't even old enough to have an account. There's 8-year-olds on there, talking about my eyebrow and telling me to...
You old horny slut!
Well, no one's gonna top that.
Okay, look. You understand what I'm saying? Are you with me on this? I guess they're succeeding in the fact that they're making money and then trimming the fat over here and focusing on glasses, which is going to be more profitable. But if we're talking about you and me, we want good VR. We don't want the metaverse as was shown with Zuckerberg standing in front of that Eiffel Tower like a gimp, cartoonized. I mean, these guys change their minds more than a child at Disneyland. And what we need is some focus. What we need is someone to step in and say, look, fine, we're not going to destroy society. We're not going to just feed the machine that will do anything for $1, and we're going to focus on gaming because that's what a VR headset should be for. We've proven that the metaverse as it stands now and this social stuff, nobody wants it. No one showed up for Horizon Worlds in VR, but that's asking too much. That's asking the juggernaut to stop breaking through walls. That's what he does. And Meta makes money. And so all I can do now is look forward to headsets, talk about games half as much, and acknowledge that Meta is not in the business of paving the way and creating VR experiences. They're in the business of getting kids together in high numbers.
Carl.
And de-evolving society. I mean, for a long time, I looked at what we were doing, taking part in, and I looked at us as in the 1920s when you saw people creating airplanes, maybe it was the 10s, but you saw people creating flying machines. And you had people that would flap and balloons with a bicycle attached to it. And how far could you fly? Can you get 10 feet? 20 feet, 30 feet. And some of the contraptions were so stupid, so idiotic that you gotta love it. It's endearing. I don't know. No one understood how something flew, so they were just throwing crap together. And I feel like that's what we've been taking part in for the last 3-4 years. And it's going to result in something really cool 10 years from now. I think it's still really cool right now. I can have an amazing time playing 30 different games right now. I'll never diss it, but the experiment has gone off the rails, and it's I feel like to contribute to this movement in any way, you gotta be like the rebels in the sewers in Demolition. You gotta be underground, fighting the good fight.
Let's go blow this guy.
Away. Blow this guy away.
Anyway, I think Ugh looks really dumb. All right, next up, Half-Life Alyx soundtrack is getting CD and vinyl release. This is from Upload VR by James Toshio. James of Tokyo. I don't know how to pronounce this. It reads, the soundtrack arrives on multiple vinyl and CD editions on April 24th with pre-orders now open. To celebrate the soundtrack's release, Valve is also offering Half-Life Alyx at 70% off, dropping the VR masterpiece to just $18. The upcoming physical editions of the Half-Life Alyx soundtrack arrive in the 3 following editions. 6 LP vinyl box set edition. This massive set features the full 72-track soundtrack pressed on 6 180-gram heavyweight vinyl LPs. Each record is wrapped in its own unique sleeve and comes packed with a lift-top box. In addition, the set includes a 24 by 48 inch poster and a download card for a digital version of the full soundtrack. This set is limited to just 2,000 copies and is only purchasable through Ipecac. Ipecac? No, I'm going to say it's Ipecac. Another option is the 2 LP vinyl edition. This edition, available in 3 color variants, features 21 tracks from the soundtrack on 2 180-gram heavyweight LPs. The set includes a custom jacket, 24 by 48 inch poster, and a download card for the full 72-track soundtrack. And this is also available through Ipecac US, Townsend UK, and Bandcamp. And then they have a 4 CD edition, which is 72 tracks across 4 CDs, which comes in the fold-out Digipack case. Now, if you don't want to buy these, you could still go online to Steam and get these digitally, where that soundtrack is currently 60% off. I don't own a vinyl record player. There was a time when I did. I'm thinking of grabbing one again because I still have some discs, but I don't know. I'm not going to listen to the Half-Life Alyx soundtrack while I'm moving about my house, but I think it is a cool collector's item, and I like that they're doing this because they're still acknowledging that IP has value, and it leads me to believe that Half-Life 3 is on the way, and just gives me some encouragement. Next, I got to talk about my eyebrow. No, I have not had a stroke. It's just the way my face is. I can't really control it. I can't lift. This one, I'm trying. When I try, I just look like I'm peeing myself. But I can lift that one, and it's just natural. It just happens. It's out of my control. But the real answer for those asking is your mom. She just does it to me. And last up, Ian Hamilton, who of Upload VR fame, he's had this show with David Heaney on YouTube called VR Download. And it's this 2-hour thing that they do pretty frequently where they just cover VR news. It's an outlet of VR Upload, and the two of them, they differ in ways. I think that David Heaney is from Britain, and Ian Hamilton is from the US. For David Heaney to have any thoughts at all living in Britain, and as a media person, I tend to think that he's probably got different politics than Ian Hamilton, who in the US has shown to be very soft, and it's neither here nor there, but they do argue over stuff, and I can see through these a lot of the time. Like Ian would just let it boil up sometimes. He'd say things that really gave away just what his politics were, and he let it like cloud some of the stuff that he'd say every now and again. If you're a fan of these guys, you might not even notice, but he would make comments about, I don't know, Trump. He's done that a few times over the last few years. It would be this passing thing, but he'd talk about it briefly, and I think that his better half would try to steer the conversation away from that. But in this last interview they did, this last VR Download episode, they did do quite a bit of fighting. They argued, couldn't agree on anything. Wasn't hostile, but they did disagree quite a bit.
Valve, we went to Valve and we saw them make all of Steam content VR compatible.
It depends.
Depends what I mean. Yes,
you
a
can
flat
use the
screen window is now VR
but
compatible.
you know what I mean when I say VR. Playing a flat screen game in a headset, that's not what I mean by VR gaming. I think we all can say, if I say the phrase VR gaming, it doesn't mean playing a... You could say then Quest, because it has Xbox Cloud Gaming, has the largest VR. That's just silly, though. Let's use words to mean something and say that VR gaming means being inside the video game.
And I'm appreciating it. So we're not arguing here. We're picking apart our words, and we need to wrap up here soon.
And I heard some people saying that, well, what do you expect? Ian Hamilton is working at a VR company at a time when everybody is downsizing. But they're at a company called VR Upload. It's not as if they're also carrying a stock in glasses and wearable tech the way that Meta is, to where they're physically feeding the industry and not getting a return. They have to downsize, fine. I don't know why Ian Hamilton was let go. I like the guy, personally, in a sweet kind of way. And if I find out why he was let go, I'll let you know. But I have not discovered the reason yet. But he used the word fired. He said, I've been fired from Upload VR, which is not the same thing as being let go or put on leave. Fired suggests that there was something he said, something he did, something about his contribution to the company rubbed them the wrong way, and they kicked him. That's how I interpret it. Could be wrong. I'll update that if that's the case. But given how often he kind of bickered with the cast over there, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a personality thing. I have no idea. Again, no idea. But that is a thing that happened, and I'm really curious what went down there. So any tips, drop it in the comments. I imagine he got himself in hot water by arguing with the wrong person over the wrong thing. Now, I wanted to talk more about the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. I have some updates regarding that, especially as it pertains to comfort, small mods, and the new handwriting gesture. But I don't have time for that today. That needs to be its own video. So if you want to see that, please subscribe, like this video, and stay in touch, hit that notification bell. Thank you to my members, and look at this, we're growing all the time. We could really use your support. It would mean a lot to me if you considered that. And in exchange, you'd get early access to all this content, every time, almost every time, nearly every time. And on occasion, we do marble runs, as I intend to do this weekend. I intend to host a marble run, which is just a way of giving back and saying thank you now and again. If you're not joined, please consider it. It would mean a lot to me. I know a lot of your names out there, and I converse with you on the regular, and you don't owe me anything. But those of you who I talk to all the time, it would be really cool to see you over there. And that additional support just means a lot. Thank you again to VR Wave for sponsoring this episode. Check that link in the description or in the pinned comment. If you need prescription lenses or lenses for the Meta Ray-Bans, the Quest 2, the Quest 3, the 3S, I hope you'll check them out. Save that 5% and support my channel. You've been watching Bringhurst VR. Godspeed.